Okay, I'm going to do a little demonstration on epoxy sculpting, and I'll start with showing how I mix the epoxy, because I use a lot of water, and I think most people don't really understand how much water you can mix into this compound and make it easy to shape. So I start mixing the two parts here, and I dip. You see, I dip it in water all the time while mixing, so I mix in water with it immediately when I'm doing this, and I keep dipping and mixing, and you will see how loose it will, how soft it will become in a while. This is probably the point where most people would stop mixing in water, but I will keep doing this a lot more to make it work with the sculpting technique that I use. So now it's starting to really run, and I still keep dipping. And now I'm getting to a point where it's almost falling apart. You can see that. So this is where I want to go. This is the point where I think this is absolutely right to put on. You see, it's so soft that it's more like a cream than epoxy, and it's not really holding together. This is what I want. So let's put it there and go on with it. And I'm going to make wrinkles on this Moray eel skin. You see, there are lots of loose wrinkles, very soft skin, about 3 sizes too big, and these wrinkles need to look very soft and subtle. So this is what I want to make, and I'm going to do it on the other side of this one. So the first step here then would be to start spreading the compound. I do this in small steps, because as soon as it starts setting and the water evaporates, it's going to be hard to shape. So let's go in a little. And now I use even more water to spread it. So wet finger and spread it there in a maybe I don't know in inches, but maybe 0.5 millimeter thick all over the surface, trying to get it out to the edges and following the shape. This is the kind of layer I want. There is a place there where it is too thin, so I put a little more there and just level it out with my finger, like that. And let's go on doing that for a while. When my finger starts to stick to it, I just dip it in water, and I can do this very evenly and without any pressure at all. I don't need to use any force at all to shape this to a thin layer. And this is about how much I want to do in one step, because when I put the wrinkles in, it needs to be this wet and soft, and when the water starts evaporating, it starts setting a little. So I want this soft compound. Now to shape this, I'm using a toothpick. That's the ideal tool for this, and I have cut the tip of the toothpick just a little so that the creases that I make become a little wider than it would be from the pointy end of a toothpick without this little piece removed. So now just start to randomly scratch this surface and make it uneven. Make these initial creases that is going to be the beginning of the pattern. You can see that there are different places where I didn't get it so thick, and some places where it's thicker, but that doesn't really matter. And I dip the toothpick in water when it starts removing compound, and I try to keep kind of a general direction in these creases going out from a center. Dip again. There. Now I have broken this compound surface into a lot of very small folds and creases. And now I need to soften them so that they look like a soft skin, not like these scratches in the surface that I made with the toothpick. And to do that, I use a very small paintbrush, a soft paintbrush. You see, it's a very soft paintbrush. And water again. If the picture is jumping, that's because I'm trying to use some enlarging a headband with enlarger lens on it to see what I'm doing, and sometimes I bump it into the phone camera that I have sitting above. But this is how I do it. I just touch the creases a little, clean the brush, water again, not too much water, and go on just softening them with a light stroke with a paintbrush. And you can even now see that much of the initial water that I had on the surface is evaporating, and soon this is going to become harder and not so easy to shape with these light touches. So I don't want more to do in one step, because then I'm going to get trouble in the end. And I use this technique for shaping Apoxie Sculpt almost all the time when I do it. I almost never use Apoxie Sculpt without thinning it with water, and the most common tool that I use for shaping it is actually a paintbrush in almost every situation. So this is how it becomes a natural looking surface. You know, a natural looking surface is not evenly smooth, it's not regular, it's irregular, it's wrinkled, it's bumpy, it's creased, and so on. And you can't create that with conscious model shaping strokes with your fingers or with a tool. You have to let the paintbrush do the job, and these irregular random things just occur the way they occur in reality, not really focusing on which creases I want to keep and which are disappearing. Some are disappearing when I do this, but that's okay. I let chance decide how this is going to turn out, and I'm not focusing very much on exact details here, as you can see, of course, but I am focusing on softening the entire surface and not missing any spots. There, I think that's it. Maybe I stroke out a few irregularities here and there so that it becomes a little bit more uniform and no sudden shapes in it. And that is going to become the same kind of pattern that you saw on the other side. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take some more of this compound. I'm going to mix in a little more water, and then go on putting on a little more surface here, a small surface about the same size, and then go on doing this until I have covered the whole fish. I can't do it all in one sitting, because you need to focus on being random. It sounds strange, but you really need to do that. If you don't, you become repetitive and things become uniform and look unnatural. So you have to do this in small sets and rest your head between. See there? Now I'm starting to do things I shouldn't do, trying to adjust things that are already okay. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you.